Hey everyone, it's me. I thought I would do a quick video. I had mentioned yesterday, whoever's interested in this, I had mentioned an ex-boyfriend. If you went to high school with me or you know me, you know who I'm talking about, if you remember. I was always in a relationship from the age of 13 on. I had like a year break that I was not seeing someone my whole life. Well, since 13 up. My ex boyfriend and I, we met, and he was about 5.5 years older than me. When I met him, I was 13 years old. And I think mentally he was like 13 at that point. But age wise and body wise, he was not. Um, So when I first saw him, he was a very fit man. Of course, that's what I was attracted to when I met him. It was kind of love at first sight for both of us, really. Um, it, um, so we started dating and we got into it pretty fast. Um, my family, uh, oh, my poor family. Um, So, I'm from a small town where everybody knows your business, or thinks they do, at least. And that is one reason that I don't live there anymore. It's hard to have the dad that I had and do anything or learn your own lessons, because I had a dad who had eyes everywhere. Everybody knew me. Everybody, even if I didn't know who they were, they seemed to know me because of my dad. Um, so it was difficult around there. Yeah, I'm not saying that I was an innocent child. Um, I think a lot of people that I went to high school with seems to think that maybe I was. Because, a lot of them had their own circles. I had my own circle. Um, but I wasn't like out, like going to bars and stuff like that. I guess being wild. Or cool parties, I guess, like with the cool kids, I guess. So they didn't really know me in school. I seem innocent, probably. I don't know. Um, I've never cared what people thought about me. You either liked me or you didn't. Um, Again, I never had the cool clothes or brands or whatever, and I didn't care to. I was who I was. Did I have embarrassing moments? Who didn't? Just some, um, you know, were less embarrassed than I was. I don't know. Anyways, so we met and it was love at first sight. I was 13. I have this guy who's older, interested in me, right? We were together forever. It seemed like at one point we were actually engaged when I was in high school. Um, Life wasn't as pretty as it seemed now with him. Um, so one thing that I've learned and that I went through with him was I didn't realize. So I would say jump and he would say how high, which was amazing. I would pay for stuff and be like, okay, carry the bags, and he would do it. He spoiled me. Well, I don't want to say he spoiled me. He did, but also it was when he would do something bad sometimes. He would go buy me perfumes and jewelry and stuffed animals, stuff like that. But also, he did spoil me regardless. Um, and I actually, as a grown up, I still had it was a Sage Lounge that he bought me. Um, and I still had it until our last house, actually, when we first moved there. I finally got rid of it. Um, he would buy me flowers. Like, he really spoiled me. But that, that doesn't always, what's the word? It's not always a good thing when someone spoils you, also. So, he had a rough life. He had a mom who had a lot of issues, and he didn't know his dad. His uncles, if they're still living, probably still walk around the town. He had a rough life. We, my first time was with him. So yes, I was a baby, pretty much. But also it was just, I don't know. Like, people thought my life was perfect, and it really wasn't, because I was hiding such a deep secret with him, and scared to leave him. Like, scared for my life. We did actually break up when I got older. Only because my mom found out some stuff and made us break up. So we did break up. When I was about 16. And, the problem with him, I said he was kind of immature for his age, is he didn't know how to do things. So he was in foster care most of his life. And in foster care, when you have a good family, they do everything for you. They don't make you learn to do things in life. So to call like a job, he didn't know how to do that. I would have to tell him what to say or what to do. Things like that. Even though his age was older, mentally he was younger. And that I learned fast was really not good. Because one thing he loved was Pokemon. And we would be driving, and I would see him out in someone's front yard with a kid that might have been younger than me, way younger, underage, for example. And I am like, you can't do that. You are too old. Like, you're going to get in legal trouble, even if you're not doing anything, right? So, those kind of things. And so when I was, I guess we broke up more than once, because, I'm lying. We broke up when I might have been 13, 14 years old. And then we ended up getting back together because I lied to my mom and said what she found out was not true. And no, it was not about us, that first time. No. It was not about that. So we dated again, and he took me to all my proms, and he didn't take me to prom. He took me to homecomings, all the dances. And so we did break up then. We got back together when I was 16. That was it. And then as I got older, I realized he wasn't getting older. Like, I was maturing, but he was staying mentally, I guess, a little kid. If that makes sense. So, yeah. So I realized that, and I couldn't be with him anymore because of that. Like, in other ways, believe me, we were very compatible. And he was one of those people who, I don't know if he was like, the bigger you are, the better, but he loved big girls, and he literally worshipped every part of me. I never felt insecure. I always felt attractive and wanted with him. But it got to the point that He did work like different fast food jobs, and he would bring the foods home. And sorry, my TV just went out, like turned off, because I had paused it. Anyways, there we go. He would bring food home, and he didn't force feed me, but I couldn't stay out of it. Um, let's put it that way. And it didn't bother him. We would go on dates a lot. Again, he would spoil me. Like, it was like he would buy me clothes. Like, you name it, he took care of all that. So yeah, so we got to the point that I was getting mature and he was not. We fought. I don't want to say we fought all the time, but we did fight a lot. So yeah, so I got to the point that I was just like, ew, right? What am I doing? Like, I'm growing up so much and you're not, you know, and so, it was really difficult. So we did end up breaking up. Actually, we ended up breaking up not because of that. He had his own apartment at that time. And so I had a key. I would go there and hang out and clean his apartment and stuff like that. And so one day, basically, he was working and he had told me finally that he had a crush on someone. And that he was not in love with me anymore, basically. Or he didn't think he was, or something like that. And, obviously, that crushed me because we were fine until then. So we went our separate ways. Actually, he was invited to my house for Christmas. It was around Christmas time. And he ended up showing up after he broke my heart for Christmas. And I told him to turn around and go home. Like, we weren't together. Why would you show up, right? So I would say nothing happened between these two. Nothing went on. So then, I think it's because it was something that I knew. My friends and I would go to his apartment still, and we would hang out and have fun, even if he wasn't there all night. We would have fun, we would laugh, we would play music, It was just somewhere for us to hang out. So we had fun, and I'm not saying that he and I weren't friends with benefits. Still. And we continued that for quite a while. Not my proudest moments there. Anyways, so, yeah, a lot of horrible things. But when I would go to school, I'd be, like, it got so bad at points in our relationship that I loved being at school. Yes, I said that. I loved, because it got me away from him. Because at one point, he lived with me. Now, when I say with me, I was underage, so we did not share rooms at that time. But he got kicked out of his house, and he had nowhere to go. And that's when he was waiting for his apartment to get approved for it. So he did live in my house for a little bit. Now, as far as my parents did not like this idea. My dad was always afraid that if I drove, I would be hooking up with people in the back seat all the time. I don't know where he got that idea, but that's what he thought apparently at one point. He was not happy with the age difference and who I was dating. And they were both scared that if they said, hey, you can't date this guy, that I would run away with him or sneak around even more, right? And so they decided to let me date him because they figured we wouldn't be together that long. We were together at least 4.5 years, if not more. Anyways, technically more. But anyway, um, so yeah, so we ended up being friends with benefits, basically. Then things got worse. I wasn't hanging out with the best group of people or making the best decisions in my life at that point. And so I had a crush on one of my schoolmates. And he was a brother of a friend, and we would all get together and just chill and relax and drink. And it was fun. And, things happen sometimes, right? And so this guy I had a crush on at the time. Again, I was not with my ex. We were not dating. So this guy that I had a crush on, I didn't know, he and I were talking on the phone, and I didn't know that he was at the house that my ex was staying at the time. You can imagine all of this started drama. And my ex started he started stalking me. He would show up, which I didn't live at home then. I lived with my grandma, trying to take care of her in high school. Also, because she had dementia herself, and the doctor didn't want her living alone. Also, my, I gotta think. Oh, sorry, thinking. Thinking hurts sometimes. So yeah, also, like, I would stay with friends, and it might be a month that I stayed at their house. Just different things. And he started showing up at different places that he would find out where I was. And he would leave gifts for me, teddy bears and jewelry and stuff all like on their porches and steps and stuff for me. And so he started stalking me, doing that. And we did talk a little, finally. And at that point, I think we were still kind of sometimes, like, a few times we did see each other. Anyways, he called my mom one time, and when I was 18, I got a tattoo. And that's a whole nother story, but I got my first tattoo when I was 18 years old. And I was off drinking, and I was numb. I was numb. I was doing things that I wasn't proud of. I was, out doing just things that I was not proud of who I was. I was so numb at that point in my life. And he called my mom and told on me, basically. And obviously I didn't get in trouble. I was 18 years old. But I don't know what he was hoping to achieve. Anyway, so my mom had always given me a choice to move away from that town. It was not a good town for me at that point in my life, even though it was my choices. I did come to the realization that I was the oldest out of my group, and if we got in trouble, it was going to fall on me. So I pulled myself away from that and pulled myself back up. My mom had offered to move away from that area once I graduated high school, which at first I didn't want to, and then I decided with everything going on, I needed to. So that's what ended up happening. And so after we moved, I don't even think it was a year. I mean, a few months after we moved, I saw that my ex had gotten arrested and went to prison. Or gone to jail, sorry. Which broke my heart because I'm the type of person that I care about people. But I knew it was coming, sooner or later. So since then, he's been in and out of prison. He's also been in out of relationships with people I went to high school with. Of course, now at least they're of age. But so last I heard, he was in jail again. So yeah, that was my life. So yeah, at one point we were engaged. I did mention it was when I was in high school, and actually, we went and picked out my wedding dress even, and they were supposed to order it and call me when it came in. It never came in, or I never got the phone call, which I think somebody up above was looking out for me then. That I was not supposed to marry this person. We were engaged for years. Actually, we, even at 13, we were trying to have a baby, and it never happened.